Have you ever found yourself unable to stop thinking about someone? No matter how much you try to distract yourself, their name, face, or voice keeps resurfacing. You could be at work, watching a movie, or even trying to fall asleep, but somehow they linger in your thoughts. Is it love, obsession, a sign from the universe, or something much deeper? Swiss psychologist Carl Jung offers an insightful perspective on why certain people occupy our minds so persistently. He believed that when someone constantly appears in our thoughts, it's often not just about them, it's about us. These fixations are usually tied to unconscious forces within our psyche. Let's dive into these ideas and uncover why someone might be living rent-free in your mind. The shadow. They reflect what you suppress. Jung's concept of the shadow refers to the parts of ourselves that we suppress or deny, traits, emotions, or desires that don't align with how we consciously see ourselves. Sometimes, when someone is always on our mind, it's because they embody something we have buried deep within ourselves. For example, imagine you are a quiet and reserved person, yet you find yourself constantly thinking about someone who is bold, outspoken, and confident. This isn't just admiration. This person represents an aspect of your personality that you suppressed. Your subconscious is drawn to them because they reflect a hidden part of you that is longing for expression. This also works in a negative way. If someone irritates or angers you, it might be because they exhibit traits that you unconsciously recognize in yourself but refuse to accept. Perhaps their arrogance reminds you of moments when you were self-centered, or their indecisiveness reflects your own fears of making mistakes. The mind fixates on these people because deep down, it wants you to acknowledge and integrate these hidden traits. Until you do, they will continue to occupy space in your thoughts. Anima and Animus. The inner masculine and feminine. Jung also introduced the idea of the anima and animus, which are the unconscious feminine and masculine energies within us. Regardless of gender, every person carries both of these psychological energies. The anima in men represents the feminine aspects of their psyche, intuition, emotion, and creativity. The animus in women represents the masculine aspects, logic, strength, and assertiveness. When someone is constantly on your mind, it could be because they embody this inner energy, creating a sense of psychological wholeness. For instance, a man who can't stop thinking about a deeply emotional and intuitive woman may be fixated on her because she represents his anima, a part of himself that he hasn't fully embraced. Similarly, a woman who is captivated by a strong, assertive man might be drawn to him because he embodies her animus, her own hidden strength and leadership. The mind clings to these individuals because they reflect the balance we subconsciously crave. The more we recognize and integrate these qualities within ourselves, the less we'll feel the need to seek them externally. Projection. Seeing ourselves in others. Jung also explained that we often project our inner world onto others. When someone dominates our thoughts, it's often because we are unknowingly seeing parts of ourselves in them. This can happen in both positive and negative ways. For example, if you find yourself deeply admiring someone's ambition and creativity, it might be because you have the same potential within you, but you haven't acted on it yet. Instead of recognizing it as your own strength, you project it onto them, making them seem larger than life in your mind. On the other hand, if you feel an obsessive pull towards someone who hurt you, like an ex who treated you poorly, it might be because they reflect an unresolved wound from your past. Perhaps their rejection reminds you of childhood experiences of feeling unworthy, and your mind keeps revisiting them, trying to find closure. The key to breaking free from these mental fixations is self-awareness. Ask yourself, what do I see in this person that actually exists within me? Recognizing and reclaiming these traits will allow you to shift your focus back to yourself. Synchronicity, when the universe sends signs. Have you ever thought about someone randomly and then they suddenly text you? Or you keep seeing their name, hearing their favorite song, or running into them unexpectedly? It feels like the universe is sending signs, as if this person is meant to be in your life. Jung called this synchronicity, meaningful coincidences that seem too perfect to be random. It's as if your subconscious mind is attuned to something deeper, making you notice patterns that others might overlook. For example, let's say you've been thinking about an old friend a lot lately. Out of nowhere, you come across a book they once recommended. A few days later, you bump into them at a cafe. It feels eerie, as if something is pulling you toward them. While synchronicity can feel like fate, it's important not to overanalyze these moments. Instead, use them as opportunities for reflection. Maybe there's unfinished emotional business, or perhaps this person represents a part of your personal growth journey. The key is to pay attention without becoming consumed by the idea that it means something. Before coming to the solution, if you find the content useful, let's subscribe to the Mature Soul channel so you don't miss the next videos on maturity. You will find content that change the way you look at life. How to stop thinking about someone. Now that you understand the psychological reasons behind why someone stays in your mind, here are a few steps to process these thoughts and regain control. 1. Look inward instead of outward. Rather than focusing on them, ask yourself, what qualities do they have that I admire or dislike? Are these qualities actually aspects of myself that I need to embrace or work on? What emotions do they trigger in me, and why? 2. Acknowledge your shadow. If they remind you of a trait you've suppressed, like confidence, vulnerability, or ambition, start integrating that trait into your own life. 3. Recognize and break projection. Ask yourself, am I idealizing them because they reflect a part of myself I've ignored? If they hurt me, do they remind me of past wounds that I need to heal? 4. Trust synchronicity, but don't obsess over it. If you keep noticing coincidences related to them, take a step back. Ask yourself, is this a real connection, or am I just looking for signs? Sometimes it's your subconscious creating patterns, not fate. Final thoughts. What is your mind trying to tell you? When someone is always on your mind, it's rarely just about them. It's about what they represent within you. Jung's psychology teaches us that these mental fixations are often signs of unexplored aspects of ourselves. Instead of resisting these thoughts, use them as a tool for self-discovery. The people who linger in our minds often serve as mirrors, reflecting the parts of ourselves that we need to acknowledge, heal, or embrace. So the next time you find yourself thinking about someone again and again, pause and ask yourself, what is my mind really trying to tell me? Thank you, and see you next time.